So this movie is based upon a nightmare, eh? I wonder if Freddy Krueger's got anything to do with this. Hey, I'm Jim and welcome to my short review for the ABCs of Death. I recently watched this movie a couple of days ago, and yeah, I want to talk about this movie. This is an interesting movie to talk about. It won't be an amazingly long review due to the nature of what the movie's about and how it's kind of put together, but I'll try my best. So let's talk about the ABCs of Death. So the idea behind ABCs of Death is basically taking 26 horror directors from all over the world, sending them a letter basically to do something around the letter, A, B, or C.
D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
C or whatever, kind of thing, and then just do something creepy or show off your horror talent in a sense. And this has some kind of big directors, some very big directors, and some unknown directors, and some kind of fresh, brand new talent directors, which is actually really, really cool. And the idea and the actual effort put behind it, I think, is actually really well done. And someone having an idea for this movie, basically putting it together, it's quite a hard challenge, I must admit, giving them a budget and giving them, a letter and something, and just go ahead and do it kind of thing. I have to applaud that because it is actually really well done, I have to admit. It's a fresh, original idea, and I like to, watch and applaud and, celebrate new ideas like that. It's something original we don't see every day within the horror genre, and it's a way of showing off how good your horror skills are in the genre in a sense. Now, here's my problem. I don't think a lot of the directors actually, stayed, I don't know, I think they lost the point on what the ABCs of Death was. My understanding was, it was a letter around a certain something, and basically they have to do a death around it. A lot of these letters, a lot of these some directors, went way off topic and did some really weird stuff. I can't, the movie is not fully watchable, I think, personally honest. I think there's five little shorts that I actually enjoyed, and the rest I didn't really particularly like. I didn't particularly like this movie, in all fairness. I like the fact that it is short movies. I like the fact that it's done interesting, put together, from different places and stuff. And some are really well done, some not so good. Some big high budget, some really low budget. But some of the ideas are just weird and just like, it's tapping into some kind of guy's weird sexual fantasy, and just like, how am I meant to enjoy that? How am I meant to sit into a room, put this on, or put it in my collection and I fancy the ABCs of Death? Because you can't really get into this type of 2-hour movie and just watch, 26 short little pieces. You may as well watch it on the internet, or watch it, some of your favourites, take little snippets out and just watch some of your favourites, to kind of show off their talent and stuff. It's basically little short movies put into one in a sense, and it's a good idea, and I respect it, and I respect the people behind it and the effort that's gone into it, because I imagine it's not an easy challenge to do. But I have lots of problems with this movie, and I don't think I'm going to be watching it again. This movie for me is a one-off watch. Some of the short stories will be good for some people. Got some really good directors behind some of the little shorts. I've actually got a list right here of some of the ones that I actually liked and some of the ones that I didn't like. This review is not going to be massively long. I'm just going to point out some of the ones that I enjoyed and some of the ones that I didn't like, and you can, judge for yourself whether it's worth watching or not. I found it a little disappointing, but some of the ones I did watch from the short movies and some of the letters I did, I thought were actually really well done. So let's take a look at them. Okay, some of the good ones I'm going to point out. I'm not going to massively ruin any spoilers for you. One was You for Undead, which was a kind of a first-person zombie/vampire one, which actually was really well done. The camera was done from a POV kind of thing, and basically this, I think a little village, kind of like American Werewolf in London, was basically just trying to stop this kind of vampire, or I think zombie. I think it was a vampire, personally honest. And I think it on weight or something, and they have axes and it's like chopping it to pieces, new crosses and stuff. I think it was really well done. I felt it was something that I think I would like to see a full feature movie on. It was really well done in terms of budget, in terms of the horror tactics and stuff. Another one is called Circles. It's basically a time loop in a sense, very similar to the one that I'm doing for Time Mistake, my own short film. I think that's actually quite fun, to be honest. It's kind of a low budget one, it's nothing, you know, amazing. It doesn't particularly last that long, to be honest, but I felt the idea around it, I thought it was actually really clever, and I think it's done quite well, you know, for a little short movie. It's very similar to Time Crimes. I think that was the director of Time Crimes anyway doing it. He likes this little time loop stuff, so fair play to the guy, good stuff. Also is the my personal favourite is the futuristic robot one. It's set in the future, of course, and this bloody hell, this giant robot and this, you know, girl which can shoot places, and it's, you know, it's like RoboCop in a sense. Some people said like RoboCop in a sense, like this giant robot. And you know, you got this kind of, you know, story of powers and stuff, you know, abilities and telepaths and stuff. And I think it was really interesting. And I felt like the story behind it for a little short. I think it was on about 7 minutes. I think it wasn't particularly long, but I think they spent the budget really well. I think they spent a lot of money on that, especially the robot design and the actual, some of the special effects are really well done. I'd like to see a future movie on that. So great one there, really well done. Now some of the bad ones. Now ABCs of Death has a lot of weird directors, and I swear some of these people are really just like, what the hell, seriously. This is what happens sometimes when you give the wrong director freedom to do whatever they want, because they do a bit too much, and it's a bit like, what's the message going across? Some of them I felt were actually pretty decent, and like some of them I didn't like, but I understood the message behind it, and I felt it was quite effective in some of them. But some of them are really just weird, and just like, who do they get to direct this? Seriously, especially some of the Japanese ones. The Japanese ones are the worst. I mean, just what the hell, man? Seriously. Okay, one is the F for Fart. Seriously. And it's basically that these Japanese girls, like, they're just farting, and you know, some sort of weird lesbian fart, love making crap. And it's just like, what the hell? Seriously. Some of them is just like, you cannot watch in a sense. Perfectly honest. There's a Nazi one which is just weird, you know, close to the end of the actual movie. What else is there? There's a hooker one, there's a prostitute where she has to step on a kitty's head. Not nice, didn't like that at all. I don't like animal cruelty, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, that's just some of my, you know, my favourites and some of my dislikes of some of the actual short and letter roles within the actual movie. You know, this movie I think will be a hit and miss for a lot of people. I'm going to give this movie a disappointment. I was expecting a lot more, to be perfectly honest. I was expecting a lot more interesting ones within each one, especially the fact it was based upon ABCs of Death, meaning there's death in each one. There wasn't death, it was just a lot of weird kind of sexual imagery in a lot of them, and just a lot of weird kind of just, you know, just a lot of weird topics that I wouldn't really expect to see something in this type of movie. So it's a hit and miss movie. Some people like it, some people hate it. My personal favourite was one, the robot one, and the clay animation one, which I think was absolutely fantastic. You know, this person did like a clay animation of a toilet coming and eating people, and it's just like, wow, that's awesome. That must have taken a year, seriously. So I would say go and watch this once, just to say, yeah, I've watched it, it's done, and see what you think for yourself. So that's been my review for the ABCs of Death. I hope you enjoyed watching this review. What did you think of the movie? Have you seen it? What's your favourite little short out of the actual movie? Love to know your opinions. Comment down below. In the meantime, Andrew, for the day. Signing out.